while US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi landed in Taipei on the 2nd of August, the visit immediately led to a rise in tensions across the Taiwan Strait, even as an already frosty US-China relationship has now stooped to a new low. The unending row continues to rise to new heights, and a month after the controversial visit took place, the latest, China has in fact issued a pretty stern warning to the United States. And this time, Beijing is extremely furious over the sale of arms to Taiwan. Reacting sharply to this development, the Chinese embassy in the United States has said, and I quote, China will resolutely take legitimate and necessary countermeasures in the wake of the developments of this situation. The US State Department has approved $1.1 billion potential sale of military equipment to Taiwan. The package includes about 60 anti-ship missiles, 100 air-to-air missiles, along with Sidewinder missiles used for air-to-air and surface attack missions. The Harpoon anti-ship missiles, in bid to boost Taiwan's defenses, the latest arms sales is in line with the US commitment to defending Taiwan. The US presidents have time and again reiterated Washington's commitment to defend Taiwan from a Chinese military incursion.
You didn't want to get involved in the Ukraine conflict militarily for obvious reasons. Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
You are?
It's a commitment we made. It's a commitment we made. We are not, look, here's the situation. We agree with a one China policy. We signed on to it, and all the attendant agreements made from there. But the idea that it can be taken by force, just taken by force, is just not appropriate. It will dislocate the entire region and be another action similar to what happened in Ukraine.
But the US arms sales announcement follows unprecedented Chinese aggression around Taiwan. Enraged over Pelosi's visit, China has launched some unprecedented drills. Its rockets have landed near the Taiwanese coast, and the Chinese fighter jets flew very, very close to the Taiwanese airspace, while ships of the Chinese Navy practiced war drills, which Taipei fears are a precursor and a rehearsal to an invasion. The Taiwan's approach towards the incursions have also changed very significantly, and earlier in the week, Taiwan's military had fired some warning shots for the first time at an intruding Chinese drone near Kinmen Islands. In the past couple of weeks, the Taiwanese leadership has repeatedly reminded the world that the island is in fact ready to defend itself, even if it means taking some strong countermeasures.
已经越是挑衅，我们越要冷静。我们不会让对岸有不当的借口来制造冲突。我们不会挑起战端，我们自我克制，但不表示我们不会反制。
China, on the other hand, has repeatedly asserted Taiwan as its own territory and has blamed the United States and the secessionist forces on the island for disturbing peace in the region. Reacting to the Kinmen Island episode, here's what the Chinese Foreign Ministry has had to say. With the greater geopolitical context in mind, let's now look at the pressing questions which the latest developments, of course, raise. Firstly, how seriously should the US take the Chinese threats of a possible invasion? The Taiwan has remained one of the most sensitive issues when it comes to China. The second question, of course, is if China were to attack, will Taiwan be able to defend itself? Now, given its relatively small military resources, China's takeover is not unimaginable. Taiwan is also on a similar defending position. Its president has recently reminded her people of the 1958 conflict with China, when the Taiwanese military frustrated the Chinese efforts to capture the island. 64 years ago, the Chinese military had tried to capture the islands of Kinmen and Matsu. This is what President Tsai has had to say.
也向世界宣示，任何的威胁都无法撼动台湾人民捍卫国家的决心。过去如此，现在也是这样，未来也是一样。
And the third question is about the role of the United States. As the Chinese Foreign Ministry has recently pointed out, is the United States using Taiwan as a money generator? After all, it's the US defense industry that is going to gain. Now, if the United States keeps arming Taiwan, at least the latest $1.1 billion potential arms sales point in this direction, then this, of course, is likely to heighten the tensions further between the United States and China. Wion is now available.
Shalom, give all praise to Yahweh, Shem Yoshua, Bashem, Rakakadah, jump honors to the elders and apostles, the brothers on down for their truth and knowledge, and the Wadi Yahweh, Shem Yoshua for putting the spirit of the elders and apostles on down, and the brother and the men in the truth on down for this truth and knowledge. Call Yahweh, Shem Yoshua, Bashem, Rakakadah, give all praise to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakakadah. That was relating to China giving more stern warning to U.S. regarding Taiwan, example funding and supplies and arms and different things. Let's go to the word verbal intimidation, because we hear all about warnings and all that stuff. Intimidation, verbal intimidation. It's the Collins Dictionary. If you intimidate someone, you deliberately make them frightened enough to do what you want them to do. So it's an action. What's the other one? That's another definition. Here we go. Verbal intimidation is often the road of a coward. The intimidator attempts or generates a range of fear in their target by simply using, let me see, by simply using intimidating words, man. This can be as extreme as a threat of physical violence, man. However, I am more interested in the verbal intimidation that is nonverbal in nature, man. The kind of intimidation used by lawyers, corporate rivals, police officers, employers. So it's more of a verbal psychological tactic to put fear into making someone indirectly do something by that use, man. You know what I mean? Such as someone of power, man. They tell you to do something, or if you don't do it, we're going to do this to you, man. So that's that, you know, putting that sight in, that producing that fear in them, man. Compelling them, convincing them to do, you know, accordingly, man. All right, go back to, because you hear a lot of, you know, threats and stuff, and that's part of scripture, which I want to go into. And basically, it's a form of producing a fear upon your target, which is the opposition, man. Let's go to some scriptures relating to war. Shalom. This is scriptures relating to war. We'll go to Ezekiel 3 and 8. A time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. So we're in a time where it's potentially hate, strife, contention, time of war. You're seeing nations preparing, doing different things, showing their proudness relating to militarily. relating to their, military equipment, as far as displaying it. It's a form of pretty much a form of physical intimidation. You know what I mean? Showing that they're not, they're how strong and mighty they are. These different nations, man. So we're in the time potentially of hate and the time of war, man. The scripture talks about in time and season, everything according to its time and season, according to its purpose. That's Ezekiel 3:1. So everything has, according to its purpose, a time and season, man, to its purpose, man. And right now, you're going to see the precursors of certain things happening, because we're in that time and that season, man. Let's go to Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. So you're going to hear what? Of wars. And you're going to hear rumors of wars, man. These are the times that we're in, man. Hearing of wars and rumors of war. Nations threatening one another, verbally or otherwise. Go into that definition, that verbal intimidation. So you're going to hear nations threaten one another. Having strife or contention for other nations. You're gonna hear of division set upon these nations and kingdoms, man. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. So you're going to hear about wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, be not perplexed, be not dismayed, be not afraid, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Because these things are part what has to be fulfilled. Remember, everything has, according to everything in the season, according to a purpose and time of a season, man. So these are the times that we're in, man, from a biblical aspect. Number 7. For nation shall rise against nation. So nations are rising against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine. Famine is what? Famine, ultimately scarcity. You see shortages of different things, shortages of supplies, services, and goods, shortages of from workers to different types of products. So these are the precursors of ultimately famine, which leads ultimately to another level of to cannibalism. 2nd Ezra 15:58, man. Scripture says nothing new under the sun, because these things happened previously, they're going to come back again, man. That's what that means. And there shall be famines and pestilence. Pestilence are plagues, man. You're seeing plagues, different things, different plagues, calamities all over the world, earthquakes in different places that normally wouldn't be, that are happening in certain locations, man. Number 8. All these are the beginnings of sorrow. So these are the beginning and the latter stages of sorrows, because these things been going on, but now they're ramping up, they're intensifying, man. Because before it wasn't closer. It wasn't close as it is now to certain things. So you seeing that goes to the birth pangs. The closer it gets to that end relating to the birth pangs, pretty much the pregnancy stages, the more intense it gets, man. All right, let's go to when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come, like a woman in travail, man. It's because it's going to come unexpectedly upon a lot of people. It's going to come like a thief in the night, man, because people are not going to be expecting it. Scripture talks about in the days of Noah, they were marrying and giving into marriage, pretty much doing things regular in society, doing the functionalities of society, man, and unaware that evils were growing upon, man. Proverbs 21:15. It is a joy to the just to do judgment, which is the righteous, but the destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity, which is the wicked, man. Iniquity is sin, man. get a few more scriptures. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 16 and 18. Beginnings of sorrows, beginnings of mourning. So the beginning of sorrows, beginnings of mourning, which goes to sorrows, the beginnings of famines and great death, the beginnings of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginnings of evils. Evil goes to perilous times, man. Know it is that in the latter days perilous times shall come. That's 2 Timothy 3 and 1. So that's what you're seeing, man. We in perilous times, man. Read it again. Beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginnings of famine and great death, beginnings of wars, and that's what you hear. That's what we're in. The times of beginnings of sorrows, mournings, and famines, great death, beginnings of wars, and the beginnings of wars, hearing of wars, rumors of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. And the beginnings of evil. So all these are the beginnings of evils. And we're in the latter beginning stages of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So it's asking you a question. You know, what you going to do, man? Behold, famine. Behold, famine and the plague and tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges to the men. Scourges is a tool for implement for punishment. So these are some of the tools that's going to be implemented, man, for punishment. The Lord has measured our town diligently in itself. How you measure the time? That's 2nd Ezra 9 and 1. By correlate what's going on in society and put it with scriptures, man. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. Scourges is those tools that implement for punishment. Pretty much tools, instruments of cruelty that the Lord is sending, man. So people are not going to be mindful when these things are coming, man. Like I said, it's going to come like a thief in the night upon the people, man. 2nd Ezra 6 and 21. The victuals which are supplied shall be good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. So they're going to underestimate the times. They're going to think things are trying to get back to normal. But this is what happens. To be in a good case, even then shall evils grow upon the earth, such as, for example, the sword, the famine, and great confusion. So they're going to give that mask or optics of a false type of peace, man. When they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes, man. So, the scripture talks about Ezekiel 7 and 25, when they seek peace, they shall find none. Why? Because it's not going to be the state and condition of society at that time. It's not going to be in a peaceful state, man. That's 2nd Ezra 7:25 through 27. Rumor upon rumor, mischief upon mischief. Behold, the victual shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they think themselves to be in a good case, and even shall the evils grow upon the earth, the sword, the famine, and great confusion. Next. So these evils are going to grow upon, you know, pretty much right in front of these people, but they're not going to see it, man. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape hunger shall the sword destroy, man. So inevitable situations that one might try to get out of, but they'll go right into another one. Scripture talk about they'll run into one and a snake will bite them, man. You know what I mean? So they're going to run right into another situation, man. 23. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. Go with Isaiah 24:10 through 12, man. The desolation of the cities, man. City of confusion and desolation. That relates to the state and condition of how them cities are going to be, man, in those times, man. the dead shall be cast as dung. So it's going to be pretty much, they're going to be a certain thing or excrement on the ground, man. Because the times that you're going to come, Scripture says you're not going to have time to mourn, man. Because of the stated condition, man. How the society is going to be. It's going to come a time where it's going to look like the apocalyptic movies, the zombie apocalyptic movies. You know, it's going to look like that one. It's going to come to that, man. Let me get that scripture. Ezekiel. The one I recited was 1 Thessalonians 5:3, man. When they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes. Let's get 7:25. This will be it. I'll read this real quick. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. So when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction, I'll correlate with that. So it's not going to be, when they try to seek peace, they're not going to find it, man. Mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. And then shall they seek a vision of a prophet, but the law shall perish from the priests and the council. So you're not going to find the prophets to be able to get answers in that time, man. You're not going to be able to find them, because it's the famine of the word 8:11. The famine of the word relate to Amos 8:11. You're not going to find them. You're not going to find it. You're not going to be able to seek counsel or a vision or counsel to find out the things that's going on, because it'll be too late in that time, man. And the king shall mourn, and the prince shall be clothed with desolation, and the hands of the people of the land shall be in trouble, because the state and condition of the things that's going to be happening, man. And I will do unto them after their ways, according to their deserts will I judge them, and they shall know that I am the Lord. So that's the judgment upon the Lord. You know what I mean? But Scripture talks about the Lord is known by his judgment that he executes. 9 and 16 of Psalms, man. The Lord is angry at the wicked every day. 7 and 11 of Psalms, man. So, and the Lord is beginning to what? To visit the earth which he has made. So that's what's happening. That's why you're seeing things, fearful sights and signs from the heaven, man. The Lord is beginning to manifest his power on earth, man, by diversity of judgments that he's executing. You know. So that was this was something short, Shalak. It was a little long, but I want to give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahshua Shem Rakakadash. I hope it's held. This is Brother Zayab, means wolf. Shalom.